Hey gang, Uncle Todd and Sonny here, and I've decided to go for a little shadowy ambiance here for our discussion of the new Batman animated show, Caped Crusader. Made by most of the same people that made the animated series, but it's a new art style. I kind of like it. Batman is very much designed on the old Bob Kane drawings, the original one from like first few episodes with the long ears and the short gloves that only came to about here. Yeah, really digging that. Thing has a cape on it and it's a little tickles back there. They've made some changes that might upset some people. Might not. We'll see as we go along. But then again, during the original animated show, they made changes to character designs to fit what had been done in the Burton and Schumacher films. We open up with the Penguin, Captain Shadow, interrogating one of her underling. I've already. We'll get to that in a minute. Interrogating one of the gang because there's a mole that's been giving information to rival mobster Rupert Thorne. We then cut after the credits to Batman beating the crap out of a bunch of Thorne's men in one of their warehouses, only for the warehouse to suddenly explode. It's the third one of Thorne's warehouses that has gone up in smoke. The arson squad is having trouble finding evidence of arson or sabotage. It's very strange. Well, we are also introduced to Barbara Gordon, Commissioner Gordon's daughter. Now, because Jeffrey Wright played Lieutenant Gordon in The Batman a few years ago, Commissioner Gordon and his daughter Barbara are now black. Okay. She's a public defender, and she's usually at odds with the DA Harvey Dent, who just happens to be running for mayor. And not an evil man. He's not adverse to bending rules and making bad deals to get prosecutions through. You know, typical politician slash public servant. Meanwhile, the Batman sneaks into police headquarters. This is early years for him, so he is not accepted by the police and is considered a vigilante and an outlaw and is wanted by them for these crimes. But he sneaks in and looks into the files on what has happened with the previous Thorne bombings or explosions, and they were all officiated by one fire inspector. So he goes and politely questions the man by dangling him in front of an oncoming train. Learns that the Penguin has been behind what's going on and has been paying him to find inconclusive evidence of the causes. Penguin, who is gender swapped in this one, she's now, instead of Oswald Cobblepot, Oswalda Cobblepot. And she has a floating nightclub outside of the harbor, probably outside city limits, you know. And she also has two sons, Ronnie and Aaron. No prize packages. But she's holding a fundraiser for the police and for Harvey. And so, of course, Bruce has to show up, as he is one of the most eligible and richest men in the city, if not the country or world. Thorne also shows up and kind of implies that her son Aaron is the mole in a sneaky little way. Well, Bruce tries to investigate, but he doesn't get very far. He does find like some of their contraband, but he's almost discovered and has to hop overboard, and then comes up on the other side of the boat, acting like he had slipped, maybe had too much to drink there and fell in. Meanwhile, uh, the Penguin takes her son Aaron, throws him into a large trunk, locks it, and dumps it overboard. Mole problem solved. Well, not exactly. The mole isn't Aaron. It was her other son, Ronnie. And he immediately calls Thorne because he's scared witless. His mother just killed his brother in front of him. Thorne's unconcerned and tosses him aside. So, knowing when his mother figures out he's the mole, he is going to be dead. So he heads over to Barbara Gordon's office. She's about the only trustworthy person in the city that isn't on the take of someone. One of the few. And of course, she says, well, I can help you, but you're going to have to turn state's evidence, and we're going to have to go to see my father. He's not too happy with that, but they get in her car and they head out, only to find that Oswalda has already figured all this out. And she's set her men after. And we get a car chase with shooting back and forth. And then they get saved by the sudden appearance of the Batman and the introduction of his Batmobile by knocking the pursuing car on its side. Pretty cool. Well, they make it to the commissioner's office, but fortunately for them, Detective Bullock, he informs Oswalda of this. So they are planning. They reveal how the explosions are happening. She has a long-range cannon that she fires shells at her targets, and she's just going to blow up police headquarters. But Batman comes aboard. He's already figured out what's what, and gets in a really big fight that mops forward with all but her main henchman, who's one of those really big, huge, Bond-type villain guys. And they have a pretty good fight until he finally chucks him overboard. And then he and the Penguin fight, because, she's got that knife in her umbrella. And she does manage to fire off the shell, but Batman had already warned the police station, and it is emptied before it gets hit. And the Batman dives overboard to leave the Penguin to deal with the Coast Guard that's just showed up. Because, shell going off in the harbor, all this fighting. Batman probably called him in too, that kind of thing. And so the Penguin is arrested. And back at the Batcave, talking to Pennyworth. Batman calls his butler Pennyworth, who is also of an old design from Batman's early years, in which he's very heavy-set. Although, he does have the mustache, which he didn't have when he was heavy-set. Speculation was that they thinned him down after William Austin portrayed him in the first Batman movie serial in 1943 to better match him. That's also where they got the name the Batcave and a few other things from. But Batman realizes that although it was a good thing he stopped the Penguin, nature abhors a vacuum, and who should probably be the one stepping into fill that vacuum? Rupert Thorne. It's almost as if he planned all this to take over that territory. Yep. Good first episode. Batman does make a lot of appearances, and some of them are kind of quick. He's in, he's out. But I kind of like that because, it makes his appearances more exciting because, oh, geez, when's Batman going to show up? And the fights are well done. Voice casting's really good. The man who plays Batman and Bruce Wayne, he's not emulating the previous. I had his name when I started this. Conroy. He's not emulating Conroy, but he's similar. And I kind of like that. And the reason I'm doing this so late is because I thought it was going to be premiering at the end of the month, and it premiered at the beginning of the month. So I'm probably going to be working a little overtime to get some of these out so that maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, first good episode. Looking forward to the second one. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.